I was watching this, like, it actually, like, this video is spitting facts, by the way. Basically, it's Rainbow Six Siege balancing is a disaster. And it's just a video about, like, why they're...
Absolutely astonishing. A change to the game that doesn't suck ass. Anyway, back to things that do suck.
I keep pausing it. But chat, can we all agree that they actually, like, I feel like for every 10 nerfs, there's, like, one buff. Just, like, to characters in general.
Suck ass. They changed all the game modes.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
I'm not even gonna touch that, but why can't I spawn peek or do runouts and quick match anymore? Like, the only fun thing left to do in this carcass of a game is dumb shit and casual, and they're phasing that out too.
Run, Dad!
The mid-season brought the very popular Frost change. They also followed up on their threats for Iona and Warden, trading Iona's frag grenades for Finka's Gone 6, and making Warden a 3 armor, just like he was on release. And the next season will bring a more definitive solution that intends to address the frag grenade issue. This is them openly admitting if something is good, that is literally considered an issue. Also,
God damn it, why don't you guys ever fucking pick Tachanka?
And that definitive solution came with them sending frag grenades to the Shadow Realm, along with nerfing IQ and Grim. They also remembered that they hate fun, so they removed T-Hunt from the game. They nerfed the G36C for the crown of having the highest KD and all attack weapons. What was the goal here? I'm seriously asking that again. Ash and Iona are supposed to be the entry frags. And when they do that job well, that's a problem, I guess?
Bro, this is what I don't get. I always say this. I don't think Ubisoft realizes that no matter how much they nerf like all the operators across the board, someone is still gonna come out on top. Like someone will still, you can nerf everyone to the ground. There will still be a best operator. Like you can't just accept it, bro. Like what? Because Ash and Yana are entry fragging and they're doing their job. That's a problem and they gotta nerf Ash and Yana because they're high on the chart. Like, what?
But then they nerf all their competition by doing stuff like ruining frag grenades, causing their pick rates to climb even higher. Like, do they seriously not understand how this works? And with Ash, in the past, they've nerfed her gun, her other gun, her primary gadget, and her secondary gadget. Literally every aspect of her kit has been nerfed, and she's still the top X operator. They've literally run out of things to nerf. So what do they do now? If after 4 years the same overpicked operator back then is still overpicked now, you've unequivocally failed at your goal and you need to readjust your strategy. And that brings up to present day with them once again saying, fuck it, we're burning it all down, with them reworking the attachment system. Honestly, I'm on board with this. The past few years has clearly showed they have no idea how to balance the game in its current state. So I think a fresh start might be the right approach.
Why is his name Macy
However,
Gay?
I don't think they're going about this the right way.
Oh no! Oh shit! What the fuck did you do?
First off, the stated goal is just a flat out lie. Increasing players' options, weapon customization, and accessibility.
That's just so easy.
Of course, because the best way to increase player options is to create one indisputably best loadout in the game, that being the vertical, flash hider, and ACOG. The vertical grip is the only underbarrel actually worth using because the other two are basically useless. 20% faster reload. Wow. Very cool. How often are you in the situation where reloading 20% faster would have been a game changer? If you're getting caught out on reloads that often, you're doing something wrong. And besides,
switching to your pistol is always faster than reloading.
The horizontal grip does more harm than good most of the time. 5% faster movement speed is nothing. It's barely noticeable. There are very few situations where 5% faster movement would make a difference. But there are a lot of situations where 20% more recoil will.
Look at that side by side.
And that just leaves the vertical grip, whose effect has been decreased from 25 to 20%. Because some people are still using the suppressor and extended barrel, and we can all agree that that's a problem. But they aren't even that popular. Like, yeah, you see them, but the flash hider is by far the most popular choice. So I don't get why they keep trying to make them less viable options. All this change did was push even more people to use what was already the most popular choice. And when it comes to sights, they didn't like how dominant the 1.5 was. So they just straight up fucking deleted it from the game. And decided to instead replace the dominant option with an even more dominant option. I admit, the ACOG is fun, and I'm glad it's back. But if they thought 1.5 times zoom on defense was considered overpowered, why the hell did they think giving even more zoom would be a good idea?
I don't know. I feel like the 1.5 is low-key stronger than the ACOG though. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it is, no?
They just changed the default from the 1.5 to the ACOG. And let's be honest, no one's using iron sights. Wow, 5% faster ADS, and all for the low cost of not being able to see what the fuck I'm shooting at. I do feel my vision grows stagnant if left unchallenged. And on that note, changing the size of the reticle for the sake of balance is so fucking stupid. They should not be using how physically hard it is to see things as an element of balance.
The hollow A nerf. Who remembers hollow A nerf? Where they made the dot in the middle bigger.
I thought they spent the last 9 years making the game look worse so it would be easier to see. Just let players customize their reticle. That would actually increase customization. And of course, my favorite change from the season, the massive ADS speed nerf.
Don't get me started. Please do not get me started about the ADS speed nerf, bro. They've done it like 6 times in the longevity of this game, bro.
If you couldn't tell by now, I hate them slowing down the ADS speed. A lot of people say slowing down the ADS speed is a good thing because it punishes people who play recklessly. And then it makes the game more skill-based. But I'd argue it actually lowers the skill ceiling.
Yes!
It's for a few reasons. First of all, why is having an aggressive playstyle a bad thing? If someone is really good at gunfighting, why shouldn't they be rewarded for that? Also, not every aggressive play is some brain-dead zoomer swinging you with power of Adderall. Sometimes you just need to go for the aggressive play. No plan survives first contact, and you need to improvise. But now it's extremely difficult to play aggressive, and the person holding the angle usually wins the fight. The problem gets even worse when you consider that defenders holding a pixel peek with an ACOG is almost a guaranteed win. It's funny because in most games, camping is considered a low-skill, brain-dead way to play the game. But in Siege, it's the exact opposite. People who rely on gunfighting are considered brain-dead. And while Ubisoft would like to imagine that every gunfight is a chess-style battle of wits, that's just not reality. The fact is that a large portion of the gunfights are sporadic, where you're not expecting an enemy to be there and you need to quickly ADS. Except you can't do that anymore, so now you're just spraying and praying while slowly raising your gun up.
Yes,
and the gun's now
bro, look at this. How many times have you had to... Okay, look at this.
That's just not reality. The fact is that a large portion of the gunfights are sporadic.
Am I going to say this? But look at this. So this is fast ADS. This clip here is when it was fast ADS. And because you're ADSing quicker, it's requiring you to have to actually aim, right? To land your bullets.
Not expecting an enemy to be there, and you need to quickly ADS.
So you have to hit your bullets because you're ADSing so quickly. But then, because of the slow ADS, this is what happens.
Except you can't do that anymore, so now you're just...
That. Like, chat, how many times have you died to this? Because it takes so long to ADS, half the gunfights you're just hip firing half the time.
Spraying and praying while slowly raising your gun up. And the gun's now ADS so slow that a lot of shots are being hip fired.
Exactly.
On average, both with rifles and SMGs, if you start aiming down sights and shooting at the same time, you're gonna fire a little over 6 times before you finish ADSing. So now, if an attacker and a defender surprise each other, on average, 12 bullets are gonna be hip fired at each other before they can properly aim their guns. And even with the fastest ADS option available, the average gun will still shoot well over...
You can shoot... You shoot 6 bullets before you even fully ADS. 6 bullets! Before coming to full ADS.
5 times. It gets even worse when you consider a gun like the Vector can shoot 9 times before fully aiming down sights.
10 bullets.
Whether you like slow ADS or not,
10 bullets
it's a fact that the longer it takes to aim down sights, the more time will be spent hip firing. And that means more randomness and more random headshots.
This is more RNG, bro.
Cloud Kid, he doesn't even fully ADS when he shoots. It's just all hipfire shots too.
Honestly, my biggest problem with these changes goes beyond just the ADS speed, and more to the decisions made at large over the past few years. That being, it's just not that fun. It just doesn't feel that good to play. Sure, right now if you have an ACOG it's fine, but if you have to use someone who doesn't have one, it feels terrible. The gunplay used to be so quick and snappy, and now it's slow and clunky. Every gun has so much recoil that any fight for more than like 10 meters is just fucking luck.
Bro, like, look at that, bro.
It's 2 people spraying a whole magazine at each other and just praying the recoil bounces to the head. The operators in game are supposed to be the best of the best, but they're no match for the awe-inspiring power of 9mm. Like, is this really how they want the gunfights in this game to look? And the reason it's like this, and the reason why Ubisoft always nerfs things, is because they're in an arms race.
Wait, so chat, what if one, you know how we always say like one shot headshot, like look at this, like what if one, wait, I've cracked the code. One shot headshot isn't the issue. It's the slow ADS and every gun in the game being recoil nerfed to the ground. It's not the one shot headshot isn't the problem. It's the fact that you shoot 10 bullets before you even come to a full ADS. And then when you are ADS, the gun goes to the fucking ceiling.
With their own player base. That being over how much the game should focus on gunfighting. Ubisoft wants to maintain a certain level of balance between the gunplay and the gadgets. But the reason why it's so hard to maintain this balance is because over time, the average skill in the player base has increased. That means...
I mean, bro, but I don't like the Call of Duty style of run on gun. That's why I play Siege. Yeah, but the thing is, okay, I don't really know how to explain this. Maybe this video would do a better job. I feel like, in a way, chat, the old game, when it technically was faster, actually felt more tactical. I don't know what it was, but for the people that played back then, you kind of understand. Like, unironically, when the game was quicker, the game actually felt more tactical.
Is that more people rely on their own abilities rather than the operator abilities, meaning that over time players will naturally gravitate towards gunfighting over gadgets.
Wait, exactly. Wait, he's literally about to explain it. Listen.
Player base has increased. That means that more people rely on their own abilities rather than the operator abilities, meaning that over time players will naturally gravitate towards gunfighting over gadgets. And once Ubisoft feels the player base has again leaned too heavily on the gunplay, they nerf whatever they're using to try to restore balance. Whether that be a certain operator, the angle grip, the 1.5, frag grenades, a specific gun, you name it. And that's why you hear it all the time.
You're basically punishing them for having fun.
They're getting punished for playing the game the way that they want to.
Because that technique you discovered, or the operator you made, or the attachment you love, or the way you play the game.
Like, we've gotten into, like, if anything, they're making it more TDM now. It's like they're just nerfing everything to the ground to the point where us as a community just think, you know what, fuck this game. I'm just gonna play the game to just run around and kill people. Because if they're just gonna nerf everything to the ground, let's just, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it goes against their vision for the game. But the cycle will never end. It's a Sisyphean task. Because the thing they need to realize is there's a hard limit on how good the gadgets can get. But there's no limit on how good the players can get. People will always improve.
I think another thing as well, right? How to fix the whole Call of Duty TDM meta. And it sounds stupid, but it also makes sense, right? To fix the TDM meta. I don't, chat, it sounds crazy, but it makes sense in my head. To fix the TDM meta, you actually just buff all the guns. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. What are people doing at the moment? They're playing like TDM meta because they're just like auto picking, like, I know on console it's a lot worse, but like on console, like people are auto picking like Goyo Vector. They're picking like, you know, this gun and that gun. Like everyone's racing to like auto pick the best gun in the game because there's only like so few left of like really good guns, right? So if they just made every gun good, everyone will play everyone, and then naturally like people will be like, you know, the gadgets will actually, you know what I'm saying? Like the gadgets will come into play because people are like...
They're always going to find new and creative ways to play the game. Players mastering a game's mechanics should be celebrated, not punished. In other games, things like bunny hopping, head boosting, wall bouncing, they weren't intentionally designed by the developers.
Exactly, yeah.
But their existence raises the skill ceiling and elevates player expression. Ubisoft shouldn't fight the player base on this sort of stuff because the meta isn't designed, it's...
I hate to keep pausing. Like, this is exactly, bro. Like, I feel like Ubisoft, like, punishes us for, like, playing the game a certain way. And it's, like he said, if it doesn't fit their vision of the game, they'll, like, hate it in a way. It's like they have this vision of their game in their head, and they're, like, trying to mold it and sculpt it, like, throughout the years. And, like, it's just it's a fuck fest, bro. Like, just...
discovered. They want Siege to be slow and deliberate with a perfect balance between the gadgets and the guns. But it never will be perfectly balanced. They need to focus on practicality. Balance based on how people actually play the game, and not on how you're supposed to play the game. If something is fun, players will naturally gravitate towards it. And that's why people treat the game like Call of Duty. Because getting kills covered.
Wait, he said something really good.
They want Siege to be slow and deliberate with a perfect balance between the gadgets and the guns. But it never will be perfectly balanced.
Chat, should I do this, what he's about to say? Do you think this is he spitting facts or not facts?
They need to focus on practicality. Balance based on
balance the game based on
actually play
how people are actually playing the game rather than balancing the game.
And not on how you're supposed to play
and how you're supposed to play the game.
If something is fun, players will naturally gravitate towards it. And that's why
balance the game based on how we're playing it, not based on how they want, you know what I'm saying? Like,
people treat the game like Call of Duty.
At the end of the day, like, we're technically like the customers, so like balance around us in a way rather than like what they envision, because what they envision is like questionable.
Because getting kills is fun. They made a first-person shooter, but they seem horrified when people treat it like a shooter. You can't force people to play the game the right way. Playing Jaeger might be the right thing to do for your team, so why doesn't he get picked more? Well, because his gun sucks, and that isn't fun. The aforementioned Adderall Zoomer isn't going to suddenly start anchoring on site his Cade just because you nerfed his fragging op. He's just going to move on to the next fragging op. People aren't going to start playing the game the right way just because you dumpster everything popular. If you want people to play the game a certain way, then you need to make playing the game that way more appealing. And this may sound counterintuitive, but if they made some operators better at gunfighting, it may actually make the game less gunfight focused. That's because Ubisoft decided that an operator can either have a good gadget or a good gun, not both. And if you make people choose between a good gadget or a good gun, they're gonna pick the gun. During the utility meta, guns were way stronger than they are now.
He had
But
for kill
despite
charm?
this, people thought the game needed.
Wait, I'm trolling. He had for kill charm? Where?
Aforementioned Adderall Zoomer isn't gonna suddenly start anchoring on site his Cade just because you nerfed his fragging.
Did he
op.
have for kill charm?
He's just gonna move on to the next fragging op. People aren't gonna start playing the game the right way just
For this one?
because you dumpster everything popular.
That's not for kill charm.
If you want people to play the
That's
game
just
a
the
certain
gun.
way, then you need to make playing the game that way more appealing. And this may sound counterintuitive, but if they made some operators better at gunfighting, it may actually make the game less gunfight focused. That's because Ubisoft decided that an operator can either have a good gadget or a good gun, not both.
Nah, the trash bag
and
on
if
the
you
wall.
make people choose
Okay.
between a good gadget or a good gun, they're gonna pick the gun. During the utility meta, guns were way stronger than they are now.
Bro, this is exactly what I was saying, right? If everyone is so we're just, you know, we're people at the end of the day, right? We're gonna just play the characters that in a way kind of just have like the good guns, the fun guns, whatever, right? So rather than trying to just nerf all the good guns and trying to hope that that will force us to play like tactical, why not just buff all the bad guns so there's more variety of the good guns, that then we end up playing the operators that are like needed in a way, you know?
now. But despite this, people thought the game needed to be faster and less focused on the gadgets. That's because there wasn't that big of a gap between the utility operators and the gunning ops when it came to fragging potential. The line between a fragging op and a utility op was kind of blurry, and that meant that people were way more willing to play utility operators and bring more
Exactly.
gadgets. If they want
Oh my, yo, this guy is going. He's explaining it like, Chad, do you understand what he's saying right now? Do you understand what he's saying? Because back in the day, because everyone was so goated and everyone like had frag potential, like you could play like the characters that were needed and still like frag out. You know what I'm saying? Like you were bringing the correct ops to the like table. It's like now, like you need a Jaeger, but no one wants to play Jaeger because when you shoot his gun, it goes all over the fucking place. You know what I'm saying?
and the gunning ops when it came to fragging potential.
So of course we're not gonna want to play Jaeger. Like
The line between a fragging op and a utility op was kind of blurry, and that meant that people were way more willing to play utility operators and bring more gadgets. If they want the gameplay to be more gadget focused, they need to make playing utility more appealing. End of story. But again, this will never be a permanent solution because you can't stop people from fragging out. You can only try to slow them down. And just like how Ubisoft has a particular vision for what the balance between the gunfighting and the gadget should be,
Slow down the
they
ideas
of course
again.
also have a vision for how much each operator should be played. That being, they want every operator to be equally viable all of the time. And just like how they handled gadgets versus gunplay, their approach towards operators has been just as heavy-handed. Nerf whatever is popular, while not acknowledging why certain things are popular in the first place. Again, you can't force people to play the game a certain way. They're gonna use whatever they see as fun or useful. Not everything can be perfectly balanced or viable all the time, nor should it be. If everyone had the exact same loadout and gadgets, the game would be perfectly balanced, but it would also be boring. Picking where to consider bad operators and using them in special ways is fun and what makes the game interesting. That's why Glad's one of my favorite operators. He's really niche and doesn't get picked that much, but that's okay because he's fun. Whereas someone like Ashe gets picked all the time because she's useful in a lot of situations. And that's also okay. But for some reason, Ubisoft sees high pick rates as a problem. To compare it to another game, in Counter-Strike, the AK and M4 are the backbone of each side, whereas something like the Bison is the Bison. But Valve recognized that each gun has its own place in the game, and they really shouldn't be competing. Now imagine if Valve decided that everyone using the AK and M4? Yeah, actually that's a problem. We want more guns to be viable. And to do this, we're going to dumpster the AK and M4 to encourage people to try new options. I know this is a bit of an extreme example, but that's basically what Siege is trying to do. Make everything viable all the time. But We don't need everything to be viable all the time. It's okay for some things to be staples of each side and others to have niches or just to outright suck, as long as the game is fun. Just buff the underperforming operators and they'll naturally get picked more. And this also means that the overperformers will naturally get picked less. This also has the benefit of giving players more viable options while not removing something they become accustomed to. And you don't run the risk of creating another LMG meta. But as it stands, the current nerf everything strategy has made almost every single operator worse. And you know, it's pretty hard to bring things back.
Wait, is this? Oh my god, wait, this is everything. Wait, hold on.
But as it stands, the current nerf everything strategy has made almost every single operator worse.
Last kind of, it's just all red, bro. Big Gadget nerf, SMG 11 nerf, Grim got a buff, Sense got a buff, Azami got nerfed, Fawn got nerfed, Osa got buffed, Thunderbird got nerfed, Flores got no change, Aruni got nerfed.
And you know, it's pretty.
Zero got nerfed, Ace got nerfed, Malusi got nerfed, Ox got nerfed, Yana got nerfed, Wamai basically got nerfed. I mean, this video was made quite a while
hard
ago.
to bring
You
things
kinda get
back
a
in
point. Amaru got nerfed. Goyo got nerfed, Not got nerfed. Like, everyone's just getting
And
nerfed.
you keep lowering the fucking line. They could just buff the operators that are struggling to bring them up close to the average, but instead, it's just a race to the bottom. In a game, everything can be underpowered and balanced, but alternatively, everything can be overpowered and balanced. And people generally like it when things are overpowered compared to underpowered. Think NBA versus WNBA. It's also why Titanfall 2 is the best game ever made. And the most fucked up part about all this is that balance really isn't that important.
Yo, who remembers when
What actually matters is that
who remembers when they first nerfed the LMGs and it was like it was, I think it was only for a season until they fully like just overhauled the LMGs, but like that one season where like they initially nerfed the LMGs and it was like
the game is fun. Reading through 4 years of patch notes, the number of times you read, "We know this won't be popular," or "This is going to be a contentious change," because they know a lot of these changes make a lot of people unhappy. And the community polls back this up, often showing the majority of player base is against a change they're making. They focus so heavily on making sure everything is perfectly balanced that they balance the fun right out of the game. The movement is slower, the gadgets are weaker, all the guns are worse, the recoil is way through the roof, everyone ADS is slower, the 1.5 is gone, frags have been gutted, even fun casual stuff isn't safe. No more spawn peeking in casual, classic maps are gone, our lord's been doomed to a life of poverty, and they just ruined the recruit. All for the sake of balance and competitive viability. Which is ironic because given how broken Rank 2.0 is and the absurd amount of cheaters, there's no reason to play this game competitively. But the change they made over the past few years also mean that the casual experience isn't nearly as fun as it used to be. So what does that leave us with? In the past 2 seasons, I've played a grand total of 11 ranked games.
I wonder what the conclusion is to
Me
the
and my
video.
friends joke that it's like we're visiting a family member in hospice care. We just check in every once in a while to see how they're doing. The answer is usually terribly. Sometimes they have their days, but the good days are far outnumbered by the bad, and you know it'll never go back to being the way it used to. I've been working on this video off and on between school and work for over 6 months now, and in that time the focus of the video has changed a lot. Adding parts, removing parts, rewriting and reworking the video so many times that I don't even know if it's coherent anymore. This video has probably been the most demanding project I've ever worked on in my life, and as you might have noticed by the lack of ADHD editing by the end, at a certain point I realized that it was going to drag out forever and I just needed to end it. I still have a lot I want to say, but I don't know when that will be because I'm contractually obligated to drive a forklift at Home Depot.
Chat, was that good video? Was it like, it was low-key spitting facts, no? What's his YouTube? Shout out to the YouTube spur. Spades! Does he make any other banger videos? Hey, damn, he's not even made that many videos, but the ones he's making are bangers, bro. What a banger video, though. What a banger video, bro. Chat, it was spitting facts, though, no? Like, it actually is just like nerf or nothing. You know what? Like I said earlier, the only way to fix the TDM meta is by making everyone good. Make all the guns good. And I know it sounds like you're going against it, like you're actually kind of fixing it. If you just make all the guns good, it all balances out.